Philly, it's your turn.
That's right.
March 14th, March 15th, we coming to the city for a 2-day weekend takeover.
Yeah, we're doing a live podcast and a workshop on Sunday.
Yes, March 14th, the live podcast, open bar, catered private networking event. Our brother Wallow 267, our brother Big Business, and the legend himself, Nehemiah Davis, will all be guests on the podcast. You know how we do. A bunch of other EYL alumni is going to be in the building. Yeah. As I said, open bar, catered, private networking event afterwards, a whole entire vibe.
You know how we do. Drink responsibly, act accordingly. And we're going to have some special guests there too. We're not going to tell you about that just yet. So make sure y'all get tickets.
Yes, and then Sunday, we have our workshop with Alex Good Energy, the legend himself, trucking guru. Kashif Edwards, his episode is going crazy right now. Straight out of Philly, vending machine.
Yep.
Yes, and then Atia Blair and Aisha Sheldon are going to do a tag team real estate workshop on how to build a $1 million real estate portfolio starting with $0. So it's going to be crazy. Everything from vending machine, trucking, real estate, and you never know, we can add somebody else along as well. So 2-day event. All of the information is on EYLexperience.com. So don't wait. Get your tickets. Philly, we will see you soon. All right, guys, welcome back. Earn Your Leisure. We got a very special episode today.
Legendary one.
Yeah, these are my favorite episodes. Me and Troy, we grew up on music before anything. So anytime we get to hear backstories on music, entertainment, and the whole industry, it's always special for us.
Especially from our era, man. The legends of our era get to tell you.
Yeah, we was just telling Chris Gotti, shout out to Chris, shout out to Kenny Burns, shout out to all the guys that came on and was giving us hilarious stories and all that. But also informational.
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely. There's education in it, right? So
yeah,
that makes it beautiful.
For sure. So, yes, I say that to say we have none other than the legendary Nick Storm.
Hey.
Thank you.
YL Zone.
Yeah, yes. 914. It's a 914
thing.
Yeah.
So if you don't know Nick is a very interesting guy. He kind of the brain behind the blow up of Ciroc. Is that safe to say?
Safe to say that.
The Million Case Man, they call you.
Million Case Man.
Former national brand ambassador for Ciroc. So he's a wizard in the spirits industry, and he got his start in the music industry. So we on EYL we cover every aspect of business, and the spirits industry is a multi-billion dollar industry, and it's something that we haven't covered yet. And you have 20 years of experience from working with Hpnotiq, from working with Ciroc, from all over. So we thought you was the perfect guest to bring on. So first and foremost, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, he's the first guest who brought his own wine.
Yeah, he got the wine.
Yeah, you know,
twirling it and all that.
Yeah, I had a long day, and I was like, you know what? I mean, I didn't know if I can drink on this thing, but I know, at Drink Champs you can drink. Okay, but I had to bring my own wine just to, to smoothen the night out.
I mean, it's fitting. It's a spirits industry.
Yeah,
and the wine is
yeah. My man Wall Street Trapper, shout out to him. He was like, one thing I like about your podcast is the guests just come as they are. There's no dress code, there's no rules. So come as you are.
Okay, because I had a button down in the car. Right? I did. And Jay was like, "No, Nick, go with just." I was like, "Okay, no problem." Well, so shout out to Jeff Tweedy because he's gonna have some Sean John on the shot.
Okay,
right?
Shout out to Sean John. That was my favorite clothing line, man.
Shout out to my man Jay Crew Love.
Yes,
a legend in his own right.
Another 914 guy.
Thank you for putting this together. We appreciate you. So, all right, Nick. So, can we get your backstory? So, you started in the music industry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I started in the music.
And that's when people was actually making real money in music, right?
Whoa. Like real money.
This is CDs.
Yeah, this was CD time. Yeah. Like I interned at Sony, and it was passing out CDs at night, like at all clubs that was popping at that time, like Tunnel and you name it.
So all right, you started as an intern.
Started as an intern at Sony. I think I got my real movement in the music business to learn the music business. More importantly, with a gentleman by the name of Dave Hall, because when Dave got me, he not only just had me as like I was Dave's assistant, but / general manager of his studio, and that entitled a lot because Dave at the time, I mean, mind you, that Dave's discography was crazy. So he did all of Mary like biggest first hits on her first one, right? So he did all of those tracks, and then he was like really. His biggest next movement was like from Brownstone, Mariah Carey, Dream Lover, did Fantasy, Madonna, Horace Brown, intro. Now I'm bringing you back, right? So, I'm bringing So you know, and you know, it's so crazy. Dave and Eddie F. Like even think of The Living Color. Like the song
Eddie F. That was
So see, Eddie F. and them had the Untouchables, and the Untouchables had the producers that was under him. You know, because back then, remember, guys had like how Bad Boy,
the Hitman,
the Hitman, and all that. So Dave was a part of the Untouchables with Eddie F. and them. But Dave really gave me like the full movement of like knowing exactly studio time, knowing exactly on sampling. Like that was one of my jobs too. It was like when he sampled the record, you had to get it and see what sample it was and then send it off and see exactly how much it cost. That was like a really big part of the business back then. And that was like honestly, I used to think it was a fun part of my job.
So that was when you were interning?
Yeah, no, that's when I got a job.
Oh, you got a job.
That was like a job.
So what was your title?
I was actually, Dave had titled me as general manager of DMH. So DMH was like Dave Michael Hall, like that was his like whole production company, you know, and that was like a thing of that. And it felt good because see, Dave and them was from Mount Vernon, I was from Yonkers. It was like that whole 914
sticking
movement.
together, man.
So it was like, it was a good time, not only a good time with him, but just a good time of being in the business at the time.
So, all right. So the music business, you kind of scaled that up, right? At that point in time, at some point, you was working with Nas?
No, actually, no. I was working. I was working for a lot of the records. Like so, then it was. That's how when I got into the business, I took like some of my musical background, and I always wanted to be a promoter because like even in college, I was like doing promotions.
Albany.
Right. So I was like doing my little like at Sneaky Pete's, okay, right. So doing little parties up there, and then I took some of that knowledge and I went to and met a gentleman by the name of John Vasquez over at Justin's. And John was the one who was like, Nick, you know what, I got a Tuesday night open. How about you put something together? And I was like, bet, let's do it like a little Industry Tuesdays. So what I was doing was taking little snippets of the albums that was coming out on Sony and Columbia. So I would take those albums, bring them to Justin's like on Monday and start promoting like, yo, Industry Tuesdays and be like, yo,
Sneak peek?
Sneak peek of Lauryn Hill's album Tuesday night at Justin's. I'm like, what? Lauryn Hill gonna be there? No, but the snippets in the album gonna be there. So I would do that.
So any artist on Columbia? So
anything from there.
Nas was on Columbia.
Nas was on Columbia. Fugees, Cypress Hill. I mean, the list goes on. Mariah.
Yeah.
But the list goes on. But anything out of not only Columbia, but out of Sony as well. I was taking Epic. Was big too, so I was taking anything from there as well.
So the promoter, so you pretty much promoting.
I was a promoter.
So promoters, always was curious about this. How do they get paid? They get pieces of the bar?
Yeah. Well, see, back then, you had a scalable rate of the bar, right? Like today, I don't know, everybody's a promoter today. And I don't know exactly what he said. You know what I'm saying? Like Jesus, but back then it was like you could just take a. But back then, the door was like a big thing, right? Because that's what people had to pay to get in the party, right? Those are the good days. Let me just stop there, okay? Those were the good old days. Like, pay to get in the party, go to the bar, buy a drink, and dance your ass off. Go back to the bar, get some water, and go back on the dance floor. Those are those days.
No bottle service.
Oh, come on. But that was VIP.
Yeah.
That was when you was VIP back then.
It meant something.
Oh God, like that. But beyond that velvet rope, you was really, really somebody. Now anybody's in a velvet rope. My man Joe from the block is on the velvet rope. But yeah, so I think, but promoters get paid on bar sales. So, but back then when how I was getting paid was just bringing a good night to the venue. So they were just doing like a flat rate, like you do this, that's good. That this is what you're gonna get. Probably like make $300, $400. I was good though. Like that was like a good night for me. It was cool, and didn't really put the pressure on you with like bar guarantee. Like everybody, like a bar guarantee. Like somebody give you a venue for a bar guarantee of $3,000, $4,000. You better hope that you make that guarantee.
Can you explain that? What a bar guarantee?
A bar guarantee is like, okay, I'm gonna give you Justin's on a Monday night. Your bar guarantee is $4,000. That means my bar gotta make $4,000. Now you go in there and you better do your big promotions. Now your bar come up short at $3,000.
You got to cover that $1,000.
You better cover that $1,000. Yeah, and now you got to cover that $1,000 for that $4,000.
So even the guarantee, are you just taking a percentage of it, or are you getting the whole thing?
The whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just like that. But see, now we have a scalable rate now. So now people are doing like, all right, let's just say your bar guarantee was $3,000, right? But now I'm gonna make the $3,000, but if my bar makes $4,000, so it's like if your bar makes 4,000, you're supposed to get 10%. Your bar makes that's sometimes they do this. So you can go between 3,000 and 5, you're gonna get 15% of the bar. You do 5 to 10, you're gonna get 20% of the bar. That's why that's why of course you push bottle service so much, because you want your bar to really ring numbers as a promoter so that you can get paid out a lot more at the end of the night.
So let me ask you this: as far as if you get 10,000, like once you reach that 10,000, do you get 20% of everything, or just the 10,000, the 20% of 5 to 10? Like you said it's 10%.
Well, most places that's beyond
okay. It's different.
It's different from everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like most places will do that off the 10, or most places will be doing off the 20. So you know, it depends on the account.
Okay. All right. So then from there, all right. So you got it, and then you said you got the Monday Night Football.
I had Monday Night Football popping. I had Industry Tuesdays popping, and I just wanted to be within, like, that's when like New York was like New York, and it was like a really good scene, and you just really wanted to be a promoter at that time, because there was a lot of promoters at the time. I mean, I think the biggest promotion company at the time that you wanted to be a part of, but they already had their crew, was Black Diamonds. That was like Derek Corley, like from AJ Calloway, like all of them. They had this group, and it was like they did really good events, but it was really for like us. It was like African American, you know, with jobs, you know, like you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember this place that, Derek will laugh if you ever hear this, because a place called Orbet. On a Tuesday, all the women in there, they were all women with jobs. All guys with jobs. But you know, it's funny, you couldn't even come in there with sneakers. That's how crazy it was. Like, you had to have your shoe game on.
Now people forget about the dress code era.
Yeah, dress code era.
Like, I remember that era where you had to actually dress up.
Yeah.
Like hard bottoms and all that.
You had to have a collar shirt. It was like, damn.
Button down and some shoes. And then if you didn't have a shoe, like I remember one time he said, if you didn't have a shoe, you had to have a sneaker. You know those sneakers like that almost look like a shoe, like a Bally's.
Yeah.
Like something like that. You were good with that.
Or like the Pradas.
Yeah. Right. Or the Pradas. Yes.
Pradas was shit back in the day.
Pradas.
Every flavor.
Yeah.
So all right. So you became a big name in the city from promoting parties.
Small name. Small name.
Small name, but making big relationships.
Yeah, relationships was a bigger key.
So what's the next thing? Because you're a Renaissance man, you do a lot of different things. So you build a name for yourself in a party. Then do you go to the spirits industry after that, or
well, right then and there, I had met me and a partner of mine, Ebony Brown. She was actually a partner of mine that we was doing some summer parties together, and one of the she ended up meeting a guy that wanted to meet me, and I ended up meeting both of them, two gentlemen by the name of Raphael and Solomon, and I met them at a coffee shop on 49th Street and 9th Avenue. And I didn't even know what the meeting was about. She was just like, Nick, meet these two gentlemen. I think they want to sponsor our next party, but they have this liquor brand. I was like, okay, cool.
This is the meeting.
This is the meeting. This is the Pulp Fiction meeting. Because this is the meeting when you have like the good brother, which was Solomon, and the bad brother, Raphael. And he was talking about what they had and this and that. And they had a briefcase on the table. So every time he would say, so, do you think you can get this product to Puff Daddy? And I would be like, well, I promote at his restaurant, so maybe. So the brother would be like, oh yeah, so we want to show you. And as soon as he lifts up the briefcase, his brother will slam it down. Boom.
Not yet.
Do you think you can get this product into the hands of the African American consumers? Yeah, I think I can. You want to open up that suitcase and let me see? No, not yet. And it was like a really funny meeting, but it was like, okay, let me step back. So I got the product in my hand, and I didn't know anything about liquor. I knew how to drink it, but that was it. But then he took it, and then the funny story is I got a call that week from a friend that was doing a party at a mansion. And he asked me, he said, Nick, do you have anybody I can get some liquor from? And I was like, you know what? I got 6 cases that I could actually give you. It's a good story. And he gave me the 6 cases, and I brought it up to Bedford, New York. And it was a mansion party, and it had everybody there. from music execs on down to the whole like industry, from fashion, sports, a lot of, I would say, stylists. It just was everybody that you can imagine. And I brought it down there. We were having a good time. And I remember the catering lady came to me inside the party, mid into the party, and said that I'm gonna need more product of that blue stuff that you had. I was like, what is it? I mean, I know you couldn't have, because wait a minute, I gave you 6 cases, 6 in the case, 6 times.
How many? Yeah, how many in the case?
6 cases. There's 6 in the case.
Okay.
6 cases. That's 36. You know, way in the world that someone went through half that product already, and the party is just like 2 hours in. So she's like, no, you need to come with me. So I came with her, and it was like a beautiful deck. But overlooking the deck was the pool and like the area, and there was 2 bars set up. And as I looked over, you know, and she was trying to show me what the bar was doing, I noticed that everybody in their clear cup, everything was blue.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about like just everybody. I'm not,
Everybody was
just
drinking.
everybody. I'm talking about male, female, Latino, white, black, like everybody, and just enjoying it and having a good time. And I remember walking up to one of the guys, and I said to him, I said, what you drinking? He was like, I don't know, man, but this is good. I think it's like some Alizé. And I was like, oh, okay. But then I went around and asked some girls, and everybody was like, this is fire. So I was like, oh, okay. So I went to the car, I never said nothing. I remember calling Raphael, and I was like, hey, I need to see you Monday. So yeah, Raphael was like, bet. So I met him on Monday. I told him that I'm in. I said, I'm gonna give this a go, and let's go. And I don't want to stop with this. And he said, listen, I just sold my condo. I'm living with my parents now. I took the money. I'm gonna put it into this brand, and we gonna rock. I don't have money to pay you. Very key. But if you believe in it, there'll be money to come. And I said, all right, well, I'm gonna need a couple of dollars just to move around. He said, no, I got that, but I know you don't have money for a salary, but you know what? I'm in. So we took on the brand, and it was called Hpnotiq. It's very important, right? So it was called Hpnotiq. So for the first 3 months, I sat in a car and drove with him around the city for 3 months with Hpnotiq. For 3 months, guys. And went around from every club, every bar, every restaurant, you name it. And we sold nothing. And 90 days of nothing. And I mean, we couldn't sell anything. And one night, we were by the FDR Drive, because he was getting ready to go back home to Queens. And had a paper with me, and I was writing down, you know, he was listening to Gypsy Kings, you know, the music was melodic. He's feeling himself. He's like, man, I don't know if I could do this anymore. Like, and he's like feeling down and depressed, because, you know, we've been rocking and rolling, and we just don't know what's going on. And he said, I was writing down something. I said, you know, is it possible that if we could just change the H to maybe we could put an I in front of the P? Or maybe we could put a Y, and maybe we could change the Q to a K, maybe like try like a Hpnotiq. He was like, no, you can't. But he paused. He said, wait a minute. Sabaros is called Sabaros, but it ain't spelled like, wait a minute. You know, what liquor store you got tomorrow? I said, I got a store in Harlem. And he said, you know what, try it. Just try it. Just see what happens. So the next day, I go up to a store in Harlem, and guy comes in and had a model with me, and the minute the girl said, excuse me, would you like to try some Hpnotiq? And the guy turned around and said, oh, yeah, I'll try some. He tried it. He's like, this is cool. I came to buy something else. She was like, oh, no problem. Next guy came in, young black guy. She was like, would you like to try some Hpnotiq? He was like, Hpnotiq? Oh man, what's that? Like Alizé? She was like, oh no, it's different. You know, it's made with fine grapes. It's cognac with a little touch of vodka. You know, she did a little spiral. She gave it to him. He was like, yo, this is good. I even like the name. And I looked at him and I said, you like the name?
Yeah, we got something.
So I walked back, called Raphael. I said, Raphael, the brand is called Hpnotiq.
Yeah.
period. And he was like, yo, how many bottles you sold? I said, man, I just sold one. But yo, I'm going to rock with this. So yeah, so we rocked, and we changed the name, and we went with Hpnotiq. And no, that's not the good part yet, guys, because I still only sold 3 bottles that day. And by the 5th month, this is a good story right here. And I hope you'll understand this. It's like when you take a risk in life and you take a leap, you gotta understand that leap and you gotta stick with it. Cause 5 months in, I was probably like 2 months behind on my rent. Car insurance is probably 3 months lapsed. I'm still working on my dream. I'm still going out every day, and I can't sell anything. And I was gonna give it all up. On that, I was like, you know what, guys, I don't think I can do it anymore. And I had a long talk with my child's mom at the time, and I just had to figure out I just probably just gonna go back with my degree and just, and go out and get a job, And I was sitting at home. It was late. When it's home at late, you pull that bottle of wine out. And you just start watching movies, and your brain is going all over the place, like because you're broke and you're just trying to figure it out. And movie came on, Shawshank Redemption.
Classic.
And I was watching it, and the minute Morgan Freeman said, it's either I'm going to go and do one or two things. I'm going to get busy living. I'm going to get busy dying. And that right there sparked me. I was like, oh, man, I'm going to get busy living. That was it. And I got up that morning, and I thought like I was 50% in of not giving up yet. But going in that morning, I got in my car, because in Harlem, you have to move your car, ultimate side of the parking, early in the morning. J. Crew Love, he knows oh so well about that, early morning. And, he got money now. So that,
Life don't change.
Right. But then I got up, and guys, fellas, I turned on the radio, BLS. I was getting ready to move my car. And Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5, I've never heard this record before in my life, had a record called We're Almost There. And when the horns start with the music, and then when the music starts with it, I didn't know what it was. It touched me. And Michael says, the first lines of it says, it's like, no matter how hard times may seem, don't give up on your plan. Don't give up about your dream. Yo.
You felt like he's talking to me.
Yo, he's talking to me. Yo, and then, it's like, and he's talking about, we're almost there. And I was like, oh, man. And I remember that I found parking, put my outfit on. I went to the store, and the guy said, you know what? I don't know anything about you right now, but I got my bag with me. He said, but the glow that you got, I'll buy a case. I said, serious? Because I usually hear no's. Like, I used to walk in, excuse me, sir, you have a chair? I want to no. Excuse me, ma'am, I just want to tell you something. Ma'am, you look good today. Thank you, but ma'am, you want to? No. I've been hearing that so many times. I got a black book that I always laugh about, but I always show my friends, and I had 41 no's until I had I smelled like Jackie Robinson, right, number 42, but on the 42nd one, I felt like that was the one that was the key. And the guy in the store was like, yeah, but listen, I'm going to take this case. But if I don't sell this over the weekend, you're going to have to come back in here on Monday and buy it back. And I was like, damn. How
much is this case is going for?
Oh, I think we were probably at like 122, 125. Like we weren't that expensive. Okay. Because you're talking about like a $17, $18 bottle. Times about that. Yeah, about that. Okay. That's what we're selling at. So we went, so I got the case, and he said, listen, you're going to have to come back here on Thursday. No, he said Friday, and do a tasting. So I was like, okay. When you're happy, because I sold the case, right? So I'm just happy. I'm just running out like, okay, thank you. A liquor store tasting, got you, Friday, bet. I slammed the door, about to go to the car, and I said, what the hell is a tasting? The tasting that he kind of wanted was different. The ones that I was doing was just regular. He wanted something a little bit more uplifting. So I was like, man, you know what? I know how to take this to the next level. So I went and I was like, I'm gonna spend a couple of dollars. I had to buy a beautiful table, beautiful cloth. I even bought some flowers from the guy at the corner. And so that Friday, when I decorated my area, I made it feel so appealing. You know, and I even had like Mike and Ike's. I remember bought like light blue Mike and Ike's, like just spreaded them like in a candy jar. When the customer came in there, he just felt like a different vibe.
So what is a tasting? A tasting is like a hosting?
Yeah. Tasting is like, so you have a table, you have a model, and you do it for 2 hours inside the liquor stores. So someone comes in and you're down to offer them a sample of it, and you just pour them like 1 ounce.
Yeah, when you said it, I was thinking like, yo, when I go into Sam's, like the people, like they ask you for like, yo, you want the sample? You want the sample? You want the sample?
Yeah.
But the presentation wasn't like yours, obviously.
Yeah, no, but nowadays they stepped it up. I was just saying like Stuart Lennox and they were sampling some meat and had like a whole barbecue going on. I was like, what?
I'll take it.
These tasters have changed. I'll take that. What's that? Bacon? I'll take it. No, I'm just kidding. But so that's what a tasting really is. So I did that. And but the thing is, guys, this is marketing 101. How do you get a case that is sold in the liquor store in Harlem? And he says to me, if I don't move these 6 bottles, I gotta buy it back out of there. What do you do? Well, you know what you do. You call your cousins.
I say call 6 friends.
That's it. So I called my cousin. That was kind of big time at the time. At one of the projects in Harlem. And I asked him, I said, I need a favor. And I went to him on Thursday, and he could not wait to do this favor. He thought that this was like a Mission Impossible thing. Because I told him what I wanted you to do is, I need you to bring in 6 friends every half hour to this store and buy this bottle. Mm-hmm. And he just like this. He's never had a job, so this was like a job for him. So he was so happy. He's like, "Bet I got this." So came 5 o'clock that day. At 5:15, one guy walks in and buys a bottle of Hpnotiq. Walks out. Owner looked at me at the thing and goes, Yo. 15 minutes later, 2 girls walk in. Hey, what's up? Oh, we come here to get Alizé. And the girl, like, they doing a whole show. All right? And I know they're from the block. That's the funny part. Goddamn Brenda and Taisha. All right?
Taisha.
Yeah, come on now. But they doing a whole skit. And all of a sudden, they takes in the sample. Ooh, this is good. Girl, we gonna buy this. They buy 2 bottles. Now, I got 3 more to sell. I'm like, oh, please. So now by the 3rd bottle, the manager comes over to me. Yo, owner said, I'm actually, let me buy another case. I said, well, hold on. I don't know if I can sell these other 3 bottles. He said, no. For some reason, I feel this. I was like, oh, yeah, I feel it too. So I get him another case. So the moral of the story was, my cousin had an operation shut down. He not only sent 6, but he sent like 12. People were coming in that store buying a bottle, walking out buying a bottle. But the crazy part about it was a good summer, like it was a good Friday night. So they were going back to the block, drinking, having a good time, but now everybody was coming back. My promotion was only 2 hours. I got a call. I left him with 3 cases, which was 18 bottles. He went through 18 that night around 9:30 at night. He called me and said, I need 5 cases by tomorrow morning again. I was like, I got 3 now, but I'll be back in the morning. The crazy part is, not only did I sell out in that store, he said, I called my brother who has a store on 145th Street up on Broadway. He wants 5 cases as well on Saturday. So now I had to go there. We had to drop off uptown, and then I had to call my other cousin. I'm gonna blow him up in St. Nick Projects because he was closer to that liquor store, and do the same operation and blow up that store. And the crazy part is, like, by the end of the weekend, we were 15 cases in, and all of a sudden the buzz started like hitting around the projects, and that was that we just started. That was like the start of it.
I mean, it's just visually appeasing, man. Like when you first see that blue liquor, it was like, for us, when I first saw it, I was like, damn, they drinking Kool-Aid? Like, what are they really drinking? Because like when we see it, it's like, that looks like the fruit punch flavor or the raspberry flavor.
Blue Magic.
And it was like,
But all right, so now but what really skyrocketed the whole thing was
Product placement.
FABOLOUS, right?
Yeah.
Fabulous, right? That's what really.
So after the 15, are you calling Raphael like, yo, we got this?
We got this. We got this. Then we started knowing that we noticed that the name change was very key. And then we just started working really hard, right? And then that was the beginning of the summer. And then I got my first big break in November. Before we get to that one, what you was about to say, I want to bring you a little bit closer. Watch this one. This is a good story. I got many stories. Get ready. By the end of the summer, I got a few accounts, but not that many. We're about to go to Labor Day weekend, and my partner John at the time for promotions, he was like, Nick, I got some good news. I'm doing Puff Daddy's party, white party, Hamptons. That was remember the Hamptons scene? Yeah. Doing that Labor Day weekend. Good way to put your brand out there. I need about 6 cases, 8 cases. I'm like, whatever you need, John, I'm there. We went out to the Hamptons. Party was hot. Blew it up. John had made a concoction. He called it the Biggie Hypnotize. So he had like the Hpnotiq, a Malibu, and a pineapple. And man, that joint was off the chain, and everybody was like rocking to it. Had a little menu placement. At the end of the night, John said, "Yo, we decided to take it in, and we're gonna do the release the following Tuesday of that week." I was like, bet. I'm at Justin's, finally. Perfect, can't wait.
Justin's is the restaurant.
Yeah, Justin's was Puff Daddy's restaurant, 21st Street between 5th and 6th.
Yeah. Named after his first son.
That's right. Yeah. And it was one of the who's who of who in New York was always at Justin's.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was happy, everything was good, let's rock. Monday comes, and Monday I can't wait. I'm doing everything I possibly can. I'm getting like flyers done. I'm getting everything ready. So my man works like all the way down by Wall Street, and he's gonna make my menu cards, because I didn't even have no money. Like, we didn't even have money for Staples. Okay, there was no like, yo, go to Kinko's. I had to go to a friend with a copying machine. Okay, we had that type of money. So we had to go. I had to go there. Had to be there by 8:00 in the morning. Ed Lover was on the radio at Hot 97, and I begged Ed Lover to to come to the party. He was like, Nick, I got you. So I got up that morning 7:00, got downtown at 8:00, Wall Street, mind you. Got to Hot 97 around like 8:30. Walked out of the building. Everybody's happy. It's a good day. Sun is out. Beautiful day. Gonna launch my brand. This is like my turning point in my life. It's that following Tuesday, 2001. 8:46 in the morning.
September 11th.
Tower 1 is hit. On my day. On my day. This shit couldn't happen any other day. I didn't want it to happen. Never.
Right.
Oh my God. But damn, on this, like 9/11. We supposed to launch Hpnotiq on 9/11 at Justin's. And whose record release that we were gonna listen to? Fabulous.
Yeah,
Jay-Z dropped that
and
day.
Jay-Z too.
The Blueprint.
Blueprint dropped it. Fabulous dropped it the same
day. Yeah.
Yep. So we were gonna listen to them albums. Like, hey, that was like an important thing. Of course, that never happened. And then, so then we had to really sit back, and we had to wait. And then we waited, and then I had to figure out another launch date for New York, because New York was down, and I chose November 1st. That year, Michael Jordan was coming back to Madison Square Garden, and then he was playing with the Wizards, and he was coming back to New York. And Justin's, it was on a Tuesday, and we started that night, and we did a promotion at Justin's, launched it that night. But the biggest thing was, the biggest club in New York on Tuesday night was Club Cheetah.
Oh man!
So Club Cheetah was the after party
Club Cheetah,
to
the
it.
Club Amnesia.
That's it. We did the after party at Club Cheetah. And I remember going in with the manager, and the manager not believing me. And he's like, I'll take 6 bottles, but I doubt it's going to sell. And lo and behold, like, we killed it that night. And here came a rapper named Fabulous.
Brooklyn Zone.
He bought 2 bottles. Latrell Sprewell bought 2 bottles.
Latrell Sprewell.
Yeah, Clarence Weatherspoon on the Knicks. They bought another bottle. Like, yo, we sold out. To the manager was like, yo, I need another case, but I didn't have another case at that time. I was like, I gotta come back, tomorrow. And he was like, man, I was sold out, but it was a good feeling. But then I ended up getting to meet Fab, which was even better. You know what I'm saying? So that was like a really like good start of the movement going into next year. Because going into next year, then we started to like really like start like a real grassroots marketing plan, hitting as many bars and clubs and restaurants we could. We was getting a name for ourselves, but we still was growing a little bit. Then came spring of that year of 2002, and I was able to put a little bit of my budget together to do a video with Fab.
Yeah, Trade It All.
Trade It All.
Yeah.
And Trade It All, guys. When I tell
Jagged Edge.
When I tell you, Jagged Puff Daddy, Jagged Edge.
Yeah.
Barbershop soundtrack. Ice Cube's first movie.
Yep.
Like, whoa. To do that, and then to come back home, and mind you, we didn't even have a distributor in New York yet.
So how'd you? All right, you put the product placement, you put the bottle in the video. It's legendary whole situation.
Yeah.
How much did you have to pay Fab for that?
I wish I could just plead the fifth on this, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys. You probably will be like, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could probably tell. I mean, it was years ago. I mean, whatever. Like, all right. So we paid under $10,000. How about that?
Okay.
Under 10?
Under 10.
Okay.
Right? For a video of that magnitude.
Yeah.
Under 10,000.
Yeah.
All right. Something for him. Something for the manager. Hey, we good.
The whole team.
Hey, let's just give me 1 second. But he gave me not 1 second. They gave me
the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh. And to the point where
First commercial.
Yeah. And to the point where we got, remember I telling you, like we still was rocking. We only had an importer license, and we was working out of a place out of Long Island. We didn't have no distributor. And when that video hit, imagine being at a small office with 3 people, and the guy's aunt, which is probably like 70 years old, is answering the phone. And she's like, hello? Okay, hold on. We have Delaware on the phone? Hello? Georgia? Hello? Not what that video did was not only for clubs and restaurants, the distributors in cities were calling.
So how quick everybody? All right, so they saw the blue liquor in the video. Nobody really knew what it was, but it was just the whole vibe.
It was the vibe.
And then how quick did that turn into people just asking?
Yeah, we need it.
Yeah, it seemed like it was wildfire.
Overnight?
It seemed like it was overnight because we signed on with a distributor who jumped on it like ASAP. We signed on with them like within a week. And then they had a sales force of like 50 to 60. So we were able to like start flooding the gates in New York. Not only in clubs, but the most important thing was the stores. Stores were wanting it more than anything. And they were taking 20 case drops. They were taking 10 case drops because people were looking at videos and going into the store and be like, yo, I need that bottle, that blue bottle. People, what?
They didn't even know what it was.
No.
They just wanted the blue bottle.
That blue bottle that was in the video.
So you did the influencer marketing before influencer marketing was big.
Product placement before there was product placement, especially in this.
Oh yeah.
Well, and influence marketing too, because
that's true.
That's
right.
real big now on social media, but influencers.
Yeah.
But I mean, rap videos always been a product placement.
Rap videos always been a product placement, but it was like nobody was really like on top of it to be like, yo, this is where I want, because that's one, like everybody was like putting a brand in it, but they were using it. Nobody was really getting paid. That was the thing too. They were just using it. I mean, they was putting Cristal was probably in all the videos prior before that, right?
Yeah.
That was like the number one, like, hey, Cristal, until,
That was a status symbol.
Right. But I tell you, the video that put me on status symbol when we had to work a deal out was making sure that it was like, when you really want to work with the artist, but you really want to put it up and make sure that it was like prominent, was when I did a video with Billy Woodruff in Miami. The Shore Club.
Whew.
60 bottles on the wall.
Legendary director.
Yes.
Whose video was that?
Exactly. Let me do the song. I'd rather do the song than say the name at this point, like, cause everybody gonna bash. Why can't no bash me? He was hot. I don't give a damn. Like,
Cisco?
R. Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
Cisco, Ignition, hot and fresh out in the kitchen. I'm rolling now.
Yeah.
Yo, 60 bottles.
Damn.
60 bottles on the wall.
So how all right. So what was the numbers that y'all was selling before the fab, and what was the numbers like a year later? Like how did?
No, we probably was selling maybe like 500 cases. Maybe we were close to like 600 cases
Total.
Until the video comes out. Video came out, we was up to 5,000.
5,000 cases. I read somewhere that the price point changed too. Like the bottles.
Yeah, because we
at one point.
Yeah, because we was at $16.99, and then when you get with a distributor.
So I keep hearing distributor. Can you just elaborate on the role of a distributor?
They're the real sales force. When you don't have a sales team, they're the sales force. They're the ones with the backing. They have what you call a real sales force team, and then they have what you call a pamphlet of everything else that I'm going to sell with your product, a portfolio, right? So they have a portfolio of things, and at that time, the distributor that we went to probably only had like 2 or 3. They had Patron, which was rising.
Oh, back then?
Back then, yeah, they had Patron,
wow.
which was like a key. And then they had like, I think they had like Pierre Jouet. They had like a champagne, and then they had like something else. I think they had like a cognac, but nothing like really big. But it was a small distributor. Actually, it's funny because it's up here. It's up in Port Chester.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were called Eber Brothers.
So 5,000. That's for the year, or
Yeah, for the year.
So you went from 500 to 5,000.
5,000.
It's like 1,000% increase, something like that.
Yeah, but the thing was now. But the thing, well, I'm just talking about New York. We got opened up in 5 states. That's the real big key thing. Like now we had to move a container, which a container, holds, that's coming from France all the way over here, by water. So we was figuring out like, we got to get that shit, excuse my language, over here quickly. But of course it's going to still take time because it's by freight. But we're looking at places that was taking in containers. So a state was calling in like, I need a container.
So you wasn't making the liquor in America. The liquor wasn't made in America.
No, it's in France.
It was made in France.
Mm-hmm.
What's that process like from getting it? Obviously from.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's a process that when people always say, "Yo, you need to come out with your own liquor. You need to do your research. You need to really go back over and really see exactly a lot of things. There's so much movement inside of getting a product done in France and bringing it over from France to the U.S. And there's so many like laws, and there's things that you got to tackle, and there's red tape, and there's a lot.
It can't be made in America?
Yeah. Oh yeah, There's now of today, I mean, you can see there's distilleries and there's things that's popping up all around the country now, which is like great.
So at the peak, how big was Hpnotiq? Like at its peak, what was the?
1 million cases easily. 2
year,
million.
2 million a year.
Yeah, but because we did. In the stretch that I was in there, in 3 years we did 1 million cases.
How much money? How much money is that? Like
in the millions, in the double millions. Like, in the double millions. You could. Sometimes everybody always says like you can do the numbers, right? So you can times what a case would be, whatever a case is. So let's just say a case was a 130, right? So you times that by 1 million cases. Do it that way, but that ain't the net. Like that's not overall. Like you got so many other cuts that you have to do, but it's a lot of money.
So it's Raphael and his brother, then it's you.
It's Raphael. Solomon really wasn't a part of it. He just was like helping out in the beginning, but it really was just Raphael and me. And it was a gentleman by the name of Jim Goldstein who had an importer's license that really helped us with the importing of everything outside of it in Long Island. So
you got up to, at the peak, you said 1 million cases?
Well, no. So up to the peak, when we sold in 2003.
You sold the company?
We sold the company, yeah.
Okay.
We sold the company in 2003.
So like a bigger, who'd you sell it to?
Heaven Hill, out of Kentucky.
That's a liquor company.
Yeah. So they're like the 4th biggest family in bourbon in the country. Yeah. So they're the biggest one is like, Evan Williams. Like they're like huge.
How much you sell it for?
About 60 million. I know, right? What was your cut? I had a lot.
No, I mean,
Yeah, right. You know what I always tell everybody is thing is that I got broke off pretty nice. Wasn't as nice as everybody were like, oh my God, you should have got because at that time I took a point, not just a point, but I took a couple of points, but really wasn't adapted to the knowledge that I have today. Like, understand?
So you're getting into business.
Yeah, like
just learning.
Just learning. Like, it's just like any like producer, like, I'll give up half of my whatever on this track, and then the track becomes so great, and you're like, oh, I didn't know, but you live and you learn. But it was like, I always say this, it was good enough for me to at least say I bought my mom and dad the condo that they kind of wanted for a long time, and I wasn't a ball player, and I wasn't a rapper, and I didn't sell drugs. Okay, so hey, I accomplished a lot.
No, that's a fact.
You know what I'm
That's a fact. This, when Fabulous sees you now, does he ever feel a way that he got paid less than $10,000?
No,
No,
not at all. Fab is like he's been my friend for God knows how many years. Like, he's been the biggest supporter of me, not only from Hpnotiq, but then remember we went over to Ciroc and
well, yeah,
we're gonna get there.
Because that's what makes it legendary, right? Like, if you can do something once, great. If you do it twice, that makes you a legend.
There it is.
Right? So
so
you've done that twice.
I did it twice.
With Ciroc. So can we talk about Ciroc? How did
that? All right. So we finished with Hpnotiq because that was crazy, right? So that and I didn't even get to tell my Incredible Hulk story, but we're good. No, we're good.
Incredible Hulk is a legendary drink because it has two classics in the black culture: Hennessy and Hpnotiq.
Yes, yeah, it is.
And it changes the color of the drink.
It changes the color, and how I did it, guys. Like,
you created that?
Did you? Oh, did you do your homework? Can I check these notes? Yes. Wow. But I'm gonna tell you the true story. I did the marketing of it.
Okay.
Well, I say I created it, like when I was in XXL magazine, when they wrote me up and talked about how I blew this drink up.
Right.
It was really somebody anonymous that was in Brooklyn.
Okay.
No, true story.
Okay.
Kid walked in. He told my model, sampling girl, that's at the, nah, baby, we know how to do this. So he grabbed a Hennessy bottle. And then he grabbed a Hpnotiq bottle. He brought it to the table, and he poured the Hpnotiq first, and he poured the Hennessy after it. And I was sitting behind these boxes because I didn't want to, I'm just doing some like store reports and like just seeing who's coming in, and I'm working with the girl, and I didn't notice that both of them stood together, but he put his finger in the drink and made it turn around and made it turn green. But the crazy part about it is that after he did it, he was like so amped about it, he called it the money shot. And he's about to walk away, and he went back to the girl and he said, yo, Ma, can I get your number? And she's like, no, I can't do that. And he's like, all right, no problem. It sometimes it turns, the green sometimes make me feel confident, just like make me feel like the Hulk. And I was like, the Hulk. Green like the Hulk. So I wrote it down. Green like the Hulk. I sat with it for an hour. I called my friend Mark in LA. I said, Mark, you always talk about Tupac, because Alizé is that's my arch nemesis.
He always talked about that.
And I'm like, I can't beat Alizé. And I'm trying to. And Mark, what's that song? He said, yo, Nick, it's the Thug Passion record. He says, pass me that Alizé and that Hennessy. And I was like, you know what, Mark? I'm going to do the Hulk. He said, what? I said, because if you put Hennessy in Hpnotiq, it turns green. I'm going to do the Hulk. So he was like, oh, okay. So I went back, told Raphael my plan. He thought it was ludicrous. He thought you were spending the money on marketing money for
another company.
Something stupid, right? What are you doing? I was like, Raphael, just trust me on this. I went to Abracadabra on 21st Street. I rented the Incredible Hulk costume. I'm about to put somebody's name on blast. I had to call my cousin Raheem, who had just came home from doing college time. You know what I mean? And Raheem came home big as a house. And Raheem was looking for a job. And I said, Raheem, meet me here at a place called Babalu's, and I need you to meet me here. He couldn't wait. He dressed all in black. He got his outfit ready, and he met me there. And he was like, what do I got to do? And I was like, what you got to do is wear this costume. He was like, yo, I'm not wearing this fucking costume. I was like, nigga, you gonna wear this costume. He was like, I was like, listen, you want this $200? Because that's what we paying for the promotion. You want this $200? He was like, you know what, I'll wear it. But that's it. The funny part of the story is that I had him dressed in an Incredible Hulk costume and walk around with a Hennessy bottle and Hpnotiq bottle for all night. The manager told me that I was only gonna sell at least 10 drinks. It was not gonna come close to the Thug Passion. I ended up selling 45 drinks that night. The manager told me if I could bring this Incredible Hulk guy in here for the next 4 Fridays, he'll take in 10 cases a week. And that's what we did. I blitzed out New York from Justin's, Babalu's, all the way to Jimmy's Bronx Cafe on an Incredible Hulk costume for 3.5 months until I embedded it inside of New York. That's how the Incredible Hulk was really made.
If you ever been to a party in New York City in the 2000s and that drink was in the environment, that changed the entire environment.
It's legendary.
That changed the entire environment.
Legendary. All right, so we're going to talk about the Ciroc situation. So I remember the first time I saw Ciroc, Diddy had like a New Year's Eve commercial, and he's like, with a tuxedo on, he's drinking. So I'm like, what the hell is Ciroc? I never heard of Ciroc before. And then
come fly with me, come fly, let's fly away.
And then like
Vegas commercial.
6 months later,
he's on a jet ski with it.
Oh man, it had like a tidal wave. So, all right.
Up until that point, we was drinking Grey Goose.
Grey Goose.
Grey Goose was the champion. Was the champion.
Grey Goose was the champion.
Yeah, and that changed.
Grey Goose was the champion, and
very quickly.
Ciroc changed the whole dynamic. So
we're sitting with the reason.
Yes. So all right. Yes. What is? Yes. What is the deal with Ciroc?
How do we start the Ciroc?
No, I don't even know. Well, I mean, it actually is crazy because it started when I went to a party at a mansion on like 62nd Street, and it was actually a release for Unforgivable, the cologne.
Oh yeah.
Unforgivable was the release, and I went there, and I'm walking out, and as I'm walking down the block, I hear this 2 women screaming Nick Storm. And I look over, and I know one of the ladies because I knew her from another company, and she'll tell a story better than me. Erica Pittman, who's like a powerhouse in the business, she'll tell her like I was running down in stilettos and I jumped over the car just to get to him. But yeah, so she jumped over, and then actually it was Erica and Dia Sims, both powerhouse women of today.
Stone Cold Enterprise.
That's right. And they both said, "Hey Nick, we need you to come and meet with Sean." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I didn't know anything what was going on. He was like, "Yeah, we're gonna give you a call this week. We've been looking for you. We're trying to find you. We got to find you today, but yeah, we need to come and sit with him." I was like, "All right, just let me know." And the next day, I got a call from a woman by the name of Jackie Lee, who was at Diageo at the time. Very powerful black woman, African American woman. Sorry, and she was, she was like, "Nick, there's some things happening up at Diageo, but you're gonna get a call, so just be prepared for it." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So anyway,
Diageo is the company that owns Ciroc, right?
Exactly, yeah, and they own a lot of
different.
Yeah, they own 40% of LVMH, which is Hennessy and Moet, and they own everything from Johnny Walker on down, from Crown Royal, all the way across the board.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So they're so I ended up getting a call and to come meet with Mr. Combs. So my first day, I'm like, "Oh, okay, I don't mind," but I have no idea what it really is entailed. But when I get there, I get to the office, and he's like, "Yo, what's up?" I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" I sit in the couch. Now, mind you, at this time, this is like Puff Daddy.
Did you know him before that?
07. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not knew him like chilling, but like knew him like I was doing like a lot of events, and a guy by the name of Jeff Sanchez at the time worked for Puff, and he was plugging me wherever Puff was at. But because Puff was like in Hpnotiq. Yeah. So wherever Puff was at, I was like, "All right, I got your cases over here. I got your cases over here.
Yeah.
Like, what do you need?" So Puff, the funniest thing is like when he was like, yo, I just want to know one thing before this whole meeting. I was like, yo, he was like, how'd you do it?
The $1 million question.
So I was like, how I did what? He was like, no, how'd you do it? How'd you get Hpnotiq everywhere? I was like, well, and then you go into a trance because he's looking at you with those, like how he looks at you on the floor when he goes like this.
We've heard some stories.
Right, like, and you just get, so, and then mind you, he's got the Biggie poster behind him, Grammys. I mean, his office, you ever been to Puff's office? His office is immaculate. Like, it's like every picture from Quincy Jones on down to the presidents. And so you already, and like, you better like figure it out, right? But then you got like your dad and like, you better not tell him nothing. And then, the good cop, angel, the devil, like, you don't know what to do. And then I said, you know what? I did a little bit of this and I did a little bit of that. And I was like, and he was like, oh, good answer. I was like, I did some videos, I did some, street marketing. I tried to keep it really, he was like, okay, I see what you're saying. He's like, listen, you ever heard of Ciroc? I was like, oh yeah, I've heard of it. We're about to do this. He told me a little bit of this. He broke everything down. He was very animated. He was like getting up. I was like, oh, I feel the energy. I feel the vibe. And he's like, I'm telling you, you got to get on this train. Like, yo, you got some good ideas. Yo, you got to bring them over here. Let's rock and roll. Talk to Dia. I was like, all right, cool. So like the next week I spoke to Dia. And Dia was like, yo, we're going to bring you on. I was like, you know what? Perfect timing. I'm ready to go. And I went on board. And 2008 was like the real official, like, we gonna make this thing happen. And and I got on and I put some programs together. And these are very key programs in anything that we've done. The number one key program was the ambassador program. And the key about ambassadors is what I did with Hpnotiq. And I never wanted one company for us to give the marketing budget to one company and have them run the promotions. I mean, there's companies out there now like Team and these other companies that like they just do the promotions for the company. But there's nobody that's living and breathing the brand. And when we had Hpnotiq, they were going to give our money to like one promotional company, and then I would fly in and be with them. But I was like, I want somebody that lives and breathes the brand every day. I want someone who knows that Fab is doing a party tonight, Meek Mill's birthday's tomorrow, the Nike release is at the Nike store. Like, I need that person that's in the market every day, breathing, living the brand. And that right there is what a real ambassador is about. Now, I did that with Hpnotiq. And I was like, well, what I'm going to do with Ciroc is we're going to take that same blueprint and we're going to bring it over here and we're going to do it over here. And that was very key to the brand success. And not only that one, second part was doing a DJ program. DJ program I had with Hpnotiq, but I only had 3 DJs. I had like SNS, Clue, Big Tigger, right? Yeah,
he was saying that.
Yeah, I had Big Tigger, I had Clue. Tigger and Clue, I tell you, I was the first person. We went to Hawaii together because we was doing like Hpnotiq at the naval base, baby. But I had Camilo in Puerto Rico when he first was coming up. But when we got over to Ciroc, Sean Prez, shout out to Sean Prez, he was able to really, because he had like a lot of DJs for the musical side of it. Mm-hmm. So he was able to, we put the program together to able to do it on the Ciroc side. And that's when we had kind of like actually created the Ciroc Boys. And the Ciroc Boys name, I will always still tell you, it was a Puff Daddy thing, but I think that I have to give just a little bit of credit to Terrence J for some odd reason. Cause
Terrence J at 106 in Park.
Yeah, man, because he was on 106 in Park. He was the young boy. He was rocking, and we was actually at the 4040 getting ready to do the Rock Boys video. And I was putting product placement in there, and Puff, Nas, Jay, and everybody was getting ready.
Classic video.
Up in their rooms and this and that. And I was getting something for the guys, and I remember Terrence J walking in, and he was like, yo, we here. And, he slapped the file with Puff and this and that. He's like, yo, we here, man. Rock Boys is here. Hey, yo, Nick, where's Ciroc? Yo, come on. And I remember I was giving him the bottle just to joke around, and Terrence like, we Ciroc Boys. Oh, good, yeah, good one. So that nigga Puff was like, nah, nigga, we all Ciroc Boys. And Puff was like, nah, we Ciroc Boys. And we just was rocking with it. And then that next week, we had to come up with a name for the DJs. And lo and behold, it was like, yo, Ciroc boys. And there it was.
So why'd you choose the DJs? That's interesting. Why'd you choose the DJs? Because DJs kind of get looked over a lot.
Yeah, because the DJs are very important.
Very influential people.
They went from breaking records to now.
Listen, so I always say this. I utilize my bartenders as DJs when I was trying to break a brand at the bar. The bartender is going to tell you what to drink. Sometimes he will change you. Sometimes he will influence you. Bartender is very important inside of the business of the bar. The DJ, to me, was very important at that time for the people to know what we were drinking at night, what we listening to, what we dancing to, what we rocking tonight. If you ain't got that Ciroc in your part, if you ain't got that, where that Ciroc bar, where Ciroc boys, and it just kept going on. I mean, when you got people like Flex and Clue and Enough and Camilo, Pro Style and Self, just in New York alone, you're looking at almost 5-6 nights of nonstop in your ear, in your face promotions.
Yeah.
Then you go across the country up in Chicago and you got Ferris, LA, Felly Fell, Atlanta, Drama. Like DC, Quicksilver, we had them all the way across the board. And whatever city you was at.
Yeah, it was like a stamp, man.
Yeah, we had a stamp on the Ciroc boys across the country. And that's why when you said to me earlier, was everybody a Ciroc boy? I mean, if a guy was in a club and he popping 5-6 bottles of Ciroc, hey, he's a Ciroc boy.
And then people started calling themselves Ciroc boys, even if they weren't getting paid to call it. They were still doing it.
It's no bad promotion. They just it's promotion.
Yeah,
It's
of course, free promotion.
Some of it became bad because we had some calls from local market. Like one of your Ciroc boys showed up and took 2 bottles and said he was a Ciroc boy.
Charge it to the company.
What?
Call Nick. He'll vouch.
I wasn't nowhere.
Nick up, man.
I was nowhere in Bridgeport, Connecticut. That wasn't me.
We got a DJ out there.
We got a DJ.
So you said something that was interesting with the Hpnotiq that I just realized, because I see like even with 50 Cent with his thing that he's going to like different states. So when you roll out a liquor, it's like it doesn't just go nationally. Like it has to go like different markets, like one market at a time.
No, it can go nationally. Once you go with a national distributor, it'll go nationally. Like once you go with so Diageo, of course, has distributors all across the country. Once when you're with Diageo, it's flooded across all 50 states. That's how it is. Whether you're with Southern Wine and Spirits, or whether you're with Empire, or whether with Young's Market in LA, like each NDC down in DC, like each state has their own distributor. So if I was to bring a brand tomorrow and it's called Evolution, and Diageo got this new brand called Evolution, we're not going to do one state at a time. It's going to be flooded out all the way across the board. That's why you got to come out with a national plan, and you got to come out with a national marketing plan to make sure that you'll be able to move the product inside the states.
So the first part, right, in 2008 when Ciroc takes off, the plan was like, we have the guy, right? Puff is the guy.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm thinking like, this guy's James Bond. Was that the vision? Like I seen him, he was on jet skis, he's jumping out of helicopters.
Yeah, he was
Vegas. He's like Ocean's 11.
Yeah, he knew how to. It's one thing about him is and being around him and working with him. Like you're very on your toes, but he always has a vision that you'll be like, wow, like I can see what you're saying. Like it's just it was really a really incredible time to be around a man like that, to be honest with you. Like he motivates you from every aspect, right? But the plan was we wanted just to celebrate life, and we wanted to have a celebration moment about it. And we wanted to be about life, about the celebratory side of it. Like, no matter if you lost your job, we're gonna celebrate because you're gonna get a new one. When you got a job, we're gonna celebrate because you got a job. Like we're just trying to find bright moments within everybody. And even when it was just like a circle, like we did a campaign like Circle, like Step Into the Circle was like a step into the circle of friends and friendship and love your friends and hang out with your family more and just try to figure out a lot of things that we wanted to come up with. But the most part about it was about being celebrated and to celebrate life, and that's what the main thing about the whole branding about Ciroc was.
So how quick did Ciroc grow from?
Whoa, I can tell you those numbers. They went quick. They went from this is a brand that was out for 5 years, between 2002 and 2007, until Mr. Combs basically took it over. 60,000 case brand up for 5 years. To when we got it, I think we doubled the numbers in 1 year. So we did from 60 to 170 in 1 year. And then 1 year. And then 2009, we really killed it because we came out with the flavors. And the first flavors we came out was with coconut and red berry.
Yeah.
So 2009, we really took the movement crazy because one, it was a good timing because we was coming out with Last Train to Paris, which was an album that he was coming out with
Good
as
album.
well.
Good album.
Good album. Very underrated.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Good album.
But we was coming out with the album, and we was doing album release in certain markets, and we were releasing the brand at the time, so it was very key. Timing is very key in a lot of things. So we were coming out with the album and branding a brand, and coming out with the coconut Ciroc and the red berry in certain states. It just, everything was moving.
Yeah. So the first 3 years, I think I read 1 million cases.
Yeah, first 3.
And you were the million case man. Then.
I did it again.
Yeah, you did it again.
I did it again.
So all right,
being a part of it, but yeah.
So you do that, and then so what's your vision now as far as where? Cause I know you said now you do your consultant. And
Yeah.
You did it once, you did it twice. Where do you see yourself in the spirits industry moving forward?
I think I could do it again.
History shows.
I could do it again, but I think now is I'm at a point in my life where I can look back and reflect and be happy. And one of the things I can really be happy about is I got a phone call the other day from a young lady that really told me about working up under me. What she learned, where she's at today, would have never been there because of me. And then I look back at about 11 to 12 people right now that's inside the business and inside the liquor industry right now with jobs that look back and say, I came up under Nick Storm. And if you can't point someone in a direction, and I always feel like you really look good when you can really point somebody to make money. I always feel like that, right? I feel good that know that I put certain people in good positions to really make some money and feed their families. Mm-hmm. And my job now, I think, is really educating the youth in understanding about hard work, dedication, and most importantly is getting a lot of more youth. More of us. With being Latin American and African American. As I say it, I'm both.
What's your?
My mother's Puerto Rican and my father's African American. Okay. So I'm both. I'm best of both worlds. How I say
like
it.
Noriega.
Yeah, but I would say as educating them on the business of the wine and spirits business. I had stated before, I've been in the game 20 years, making 6 figures for 20 years. There's so many good jobs inside the wine and spirits business that people don't know about, whether it's marketing, whether it's advertising, whether it's public relations, whether it's salespeople. A girl told me the other day, and this is a good one too, she was a bartender at a strip club. And a gentleman's club. Gentleman's club. And she was really good at sales. And she would say to me, I wish I could blow this nightlife one day. And I said, you know what? You are. And when you're really serious, you let me know. And I think a week later, she was very serious. She asked me for advice. She put a blue suit on with her shirt. I told her what to wear. I told her what to say. She went for a job at a distributor, at a sales position. She got it. The reason why I'm telling the story is 2 weeks ago, she said, I wanted your address because I wanted to send you a gift because for a year and a half, she's been doing really well. But this year, in 2019, she made Sales Girl of the Year. She changed her life from the nightlife of what she really didn't want to do and really became a saleswoman and is so happy and proud. But that made me feel proud because she was able to change her whole lifestyle and really and she had a daughter and she's doing really well. And that's like that right there. You could change one person's life sometimes. When I speak in front of kids, and if 2 kids come up to me after it, like one kid came to me the other day and said, "You really get paid to party?" I was like, "Yeah," but not like that. But yeah, but I always feel like, that's my mission now, because I'm no good without giving the knowledge that what I was doing.
Each one reach one.
Yeah. There it is. And so that's where I'm at in my life. I want to consult from brands on down to the younger generation, and I want to speak. I want to do public speaking inside of schools and trying to educate them on jobs inside the business.
So how would they find those jobs, right? The young lady, that's incredible that she did that, but she saw you.
She knew me.
So how would the average person say, you know what, I want to get in the spirits industry? Where do I go?
I'm looking lately, and then a lot of people have been hitting me up, but it's a lot of people, like a lot of jobs are online now. Okay. Like, you can go on Diageo's website, you can go on Pernod Ricard's website, which is another big liquor brand. But you can go on these websites, and honestly, do your knowledge. Like, a friend of mine went at a liquor store, went in the back of a bottle, found where the bottle was being imported from, and wrote the company up in Connecticut and found the website to it, and then found the HR person to it. Like, people are really like knowing how to do they're hungry enough to do their work now, which is good. And it's funny, I'm really only telling the story because he got the job. Yeah. Which is crazy. But and then he's working in Connecticut right now. But yeah, so that's where I'm at now.
That's dope, man. Well, thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate it. How can the people contact you? Can they contact you? Or
yeah. You can, all right, so you can contact me on my social media. You can DM me. I answer everybody. My email is nickstorm29@gmail. You can email me, but my IG is I am Nick Storm. And you can contact me. Or my manager, his name is J. Crew Love. My manager, his Instagram, I don't know his Instagram. His Instagram is J. Crew Love. Yeah, DM him. He'll get me, at any speaking engagements, whatever. My manager's right there. So,
shout out to the town of Greenberg. J. Crew Love.
J.
Crew Love.
Woodlands home for a little bit.
Sure. We call him Stephen A. J.
That's a good one. That's actually a good one. That's a good one. Troy, housekeeping items?
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody on patreon.com. We have hit 100 on there. We had a goal to hit 100 people, and that's our Proud to Pay program, and we hit 100. And we got something special for those people, like we said on the site. We're going to do something real special to 5 or 6 of y'all. Also, be on the lookout for that. And keep supporting, man. We have 5 tiers. We're actually going to do some remodeling on our Patreon. We're going to change some things up. But keep supporting that. And everybody that's supporting the merch on earnyourleisure.com. It is hoodie season here in New York, so it might be hoodie season on the East Coast. So our sweatshirts are up there. We have the Assets Over Liability sweatshirt. We're also going to have the Hustle for Your Last Name. And we're going to have some new merch coming, man. Shout out to all our earners. That is, the people that follow Earn Your Leisure and support Crazy. It's a community. And if you shall see, Nick, after this episode is what the earners are all about. They are a legion of supporters. So shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to them for sure. Patreon's the community. That's it. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.